grave. Suena el bongo, hazme un tumbao, que el ritmo lo pongo yo.
Pops and the Rican.
Look at this dude. Look at the top of his head. Look at his lips.
Pops and the Rican.
So hey, it's the Pops and the Rican show.
Yep.
And I know it's been a while since we've actually done an episode, and so
it's crazy.
I need to double check. Am I still Pops?
You're still Pops.
Which means you're still
the Rican.
Okay, which is good to know because
always good.
I was like, I hope I didn't.
Because you can't really just change races, bro. You know.
Well,
so it just doesn't happen that way. You don't just. Nowadays you can't actually identify.
I was going to say
you should identify you're Puerto Rican because you're always late to stuff. So.
Well, not always late. It's my fashion sense that.
Okay, sure.
So,
if you want to go with that.
Anyway, yeah. So I guess I'm going to identify as a very young Pops, a young, attractive. A specimen of health and fitness. Yeah, that's
on
what
the radio.
I am identifying as that. So people need to start respecting me and stop the fat shaming. Okay, that's all I'm saying. So anyway, Rico. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Told you I wasn't going to call you that, and then I just turned around and did it. Not today. I didn't tell you that, but.
See.
Anyway, Steve, what you been up to, man? We haven't been doing shows because life got real busy for a second.
It did.
Or as my son would say, it got busy for a hot minute.
It was good for a hot minute. Yeah.
I keep asking Jake, what's a hot minute versus a minute, and he can't explain it in old people, so I don't know yet.
A hot minute. Yeah, that's right. I mean, you can't really explain that. I mean, unless it's just like. It's what's been when you're busy and when you're in. That's a hot minute.
Oh well, then maybe we were in a hot minute and I didn't even know it.
We haven't done Pops and the Rican in a minute. It hasn't been like a hot minute because but in reality, it's been a hot minute because of the fact that we've been like pushing.
It was a hot minute. It was a hot minute because we couldn't slow down for that minute, so it had to be a hot minute. Okay,
right.
So
there you go.
I'm gonna say, oh yeah, sorry we haven't been here for a hot minute, but we're here today. So what's been going on in the world of the Rican?
Man, well, I'll say this. It's been an interesting run here in Indy, especially when it comes down to running a room. We're in a transition mode, you could say.
Well,
a good transition mode. But before we jump into that,
I'll throw this out there because there may be some people that occasionally pop in and listen to the Pops and the Rican show,
right.
And they may not all be aware of the fact that we intentionally went out to get Gutty's Comedy Club on the map here in Central Indiana.
Yeah.
And for those of you who aren't familiar with Gutty's Comedy Club, Steve kind of founded Gutty's, started it when he was living up in
suburbs of Chicago,
in that wayward land known as Chicagoland.
Yeah.
And so he had kind of got things rolling up there, and then because of a number of different things in life and him moving. Gutty's up there kind of came to a bit of a standstill, and so you ended up in Plainfield, and that was close enough for me to wander over and slap you in the back of the head once or twice and say, "Hey,
let's get it rolling.
What's going on? Let's do something." And so, like I said, we intentionally said we need to get Gutty's founded here. We need to get it established here Central Indiana.
Yep.
And so we found a place that we thought was gonna function, and we'll talk a little bit about some of the hiccups that came with that.
Yeah.
But the challenge of saying, okay, we want to establish a room.
Yeah.
Let alone we want to establish this as a regular operational club.
Yeah.
Before we actually launched Gutty's Comedy Club, we were kind of trying to generate some open mic rooms and that, and finding space and getting it so that it's consistent space can be a challenge.
It's a challenge. That's kind of how it is. A lot of people say, all right, well, if I can't find open mics, which you can find here, there are a lot of great open mics here in Indy that I've been to. And let me check and see.
Because Steve just disappeared because he went to pick up his coffee. Because we're at Starbucks. In case people didn't know that,
I'll
let you know.
Called me or not.
We're at my office away from home, which is just about anywhere you can find a Starbucks. I have a table reserved for me. That's if I have to have an office space, there has to be coffee, and so you're catching us tonight or today here for the Pops and the Rican show at another Starbucks. And
that's how we roll.
And so, anyway. You got your coffee. Now we can continue on.
Yes, I'm a happy man now. So being here in Indy, with the open mics, right? You always want to find some place to go. But here's the difference because a lot of people want to know the difference between Gutty's and why do I want to start my own club?
Right.
Because there's clubs around. Well, Gutty's has always been a vision, if you want. Or at least I can understand, like the mission statement or the idea of Gutty's was to generate or create a place that housed clean comedy.
Right.
Okay, as opposed to, obviously the other.
Yeah, you can
which
go.
Is fine.
You can go to a lot of places and find a comedy club or a makeshift comedy club.
Right.
But you can't go many places and find a clean comedy house.
Right. And see, the thing is, with my background and my faith, right, I never really had the ability to be able to I just never had the drive to want to just be blue.
Right.
It just wasn't me. I grew up in my father's a preacher, and I grew up in a Christian home. I just never had that. Now, I was off the chain when I was at school and stuff, yes, of course, but after really settling in and understanding who I was, it kind of wasn't like my thing.
Right.
So, I knew that comedy is what I wanted to do, and what I wanted to be a part of. That was just growing up, and you just know. So, I think I just this idea to create one. I wanted to create a room that was clean from any kind of material that is just offensive and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, not too many people out there, or at least at the time, because I know they're out there. It's just our area at the time in Chicago was just not. It wasn't prevalent. So I wanted to jump on that. I wanted to jump on that idea, that opportunity to create a space not only for clean comedy, but also for me to be able to perform. Like, I needed a room to be able to do this. Some people say if you can't find a room or can't get on stage, then make room. And so my angle was, okay, I'm just going to make room to do it. And so when I did that, it started off in a small little local church, actually a church that I grew up, in. And they gave me a small little room to work with, and it started off from there.
Let's be honest. They tried to lock you in a closet, and
they're like, "Just give him something."
Let's lock him in the closet. And when they came back, you had 14 people, and you were running a mic. So.
And they were like, "What is going on?" Yeah. which is pretty much how it went. It's like we had only like 40 seats.
Yeah.
But what I did was I went and bought these curtains and I just decked out the place. Now, you know me. I'm all about presentation. So it started off, even in the beginning, where I had everything just set up to where everybody was like, man, you changed this little room to like an actual, club like.
Yeah.
So the idea was to obviously to create that room. So I did, and that's where the birth of Gutties came. Was. And so what I want to do is I've been running after this thing for almost 15 years now to want to just get something going where
Right.
it's consistent. And it's not that easy, man. It's not that easy, especially when you don't have much to work with.
Well, let's talk about some of the struggles that we've encountered in doing this. We have found rooms that have been, some venues that have said, sure, let's do this.
Yeah.
But then you run into some issues, and I don't want to throw anybody or any of these venues under the bus.
No.
Because it's not that there was any malice on their part.
No.
But there's just things that happen. So
They're an established organization. They're an established company, right? Their business is set, so they got to run their operations, right? So the first thing is establishing a relationship with the owner. That's the biggest challenge, is being able to get into the door,
right?
And say, hey, I'd like to run a club. Now, majority of the time, it's either a cafe or a place they want to do something like that, but they don't want to do just comedy.
Right.
So they want to have like variety in it. Sometimes a guitar player or whatever, musicians. So you have to accommodate, and that's the challenge, is the fact that when you come into partnership with other people, they have a vision as well.
Right.
And so now you both have to try to kind of marry the two.
Right.
And work within that, and that's where it can get kind of sticky.
And I think that's part of the struggle that a lot of comics have in terms of starting an open mic room or a room, whether they're going to do an open mic or if they're going to try and do shows on a fairly regular basis.
Yeah.
When they go in, they have this idea of how they want the show to operate.
Yeah.
And so they're thinking, if I have access to this space, I'm going to do it my way.
Yeah.
And the owner of the venue is kind of like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What an owner wants.
Yeah.
Every owner wants. Okay, are you going to bring more people into my venue?
Butts in the seats. Yep.
And are they going to spend more money, whether it's at a coffee shop or a bar or a restaurant or wherever?
Yeah.
Are they going to drop some coin in here?
Yeah.
Well, they're coming in to see what little skit you're doing.
Right, you're doing, exactly.
And they don't understand. They don't look at it as, oh, you're doing a show.
Yeah.
They like, oh, you're gonna do something over in that corner.
Yeah. Again.
And I hope that if we let you do your little thing over there in the corner,
that it works.
You're going to bring in people. They're going to drop some coin, and I'm going to be happy because you opened the door to some new people that wouldn't have come into my place to spend money.
Hence,
that's what the club. I mean, that's what the owner of the establishment is looking for.
So, no matter who you go, introducing welcome to our show.
Not only are we at Starbucks,
barista.
we're at one of the Starbucks that has a real loud barista. She's a very sweet person, but she has a really loud voice.
So therein lies I've always had this issue being under or being in partner with different places because, and I don't think it's I'm being okay. What up?
You were going to say you're not being arrogant.
Arrogant, was that?
I don't think.
Okay, what I'm saying is, like, I have when you have an idea, right, of how everything should work, and it doesn't fit, right, with the smaller vision or whatever, it's always going to end up one way or another. And every time I connect with these owners, and they start off with, like how you say, they say, "Oh, you're gonna do a little thing here, and you're gonna do this, and bring in money, and we're gonna be good." And they don't expect. When I come, the way that I am is that when I come out with all out. You know,
Yeah.
I go all out, and I sometimes have to pull myself back because it's not my place, right? It's not my place to do this. I can't just take over and be like, "This is how it's gonna run." It doesn't work that way.
Right.
Because I have so much of a drive and also just an idea of what I want to see.
You got to tap the brakes every
Sometimes
once in a
you have
while
to.
and just kind of say, okay, here's what I'd like to accomplish. Here's what the owner's expecting me to accomplish. Can I get the owner to open up a little bit more so we can actually?
That's a balance, man.
Yeah.
That is a balance that sometimes I don't have patience for. And it shows sometimes because the thing is, when I know something works, right?
Yeah.
And I tell them, look, it's going to work. If we can do it this way, they'll see it and they'll go, like I said, okay, we'll give you a couple shows. And this has happened every time that I've attempted to run a show in partnership with someone else's venue. They'll say, okay, we'll start off with 3 months or 4 months, 5 months. And then, okay, we'll do that. One thing I would say to do is get it in writing. Get everything in writing.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's just number one, hands down. Get it in writing.
And I will say, you've experienced this, so I feel like I can say this for you, but I can definitely say it for me.
Yeah.
Every time that I have gone in with people that, okay, I've developed the relationship, the owner and I were on the same page, and so now we're moving forward with what I will refer to as a gentleman's agreement.
Right.
You know, hey, we shook hands, we both said yes, this is what we're going to do.
Got my word.
Which is that always
Bites. It
always
bites you.
ends up
Turns
where
around.
at
here's
some
the thing.
point there's going to be a miscommunication or a misunderstanding,
Yeah.
and then that misunderstanding grows into something, and so you've got to, and I've said it to people in business.
Yeah.
As a business consultant, I have said it to people,
Right.
make sure you put it in
Put it
writing.
in-
You
yeah.
put it in writing. And then the times when I don't do what I preach,
Yeah.
it comes
It
back
hits
and
you.
bites me in the backside.
Here's the
and-
thing. It's because people think that running a comedy show is nothing. Right? They look at it like, oh, it's just a comedy show. You know?
Right.
Or it's just a little comedy club, and they don't take it as serious as I do, right?
Yeah.
So when I started off doing the shows, and then they start seeing. Well, here's the thing. Here's another thing I would say that you would need to do is make sure if you have the skills to for marketing and advertising
Yeah.
to bank on it, meaning take advantage of it, right? Because that'll save you a lot of money, but it'll also set you apart from your general little run-of-the-mill type of things that run around, right? As far as like presentation. Because I'm saying this because I'm setting this up where when we first did the shows, every single owner that I would partner with, they see how well it's put together, and they assume you guys are raking in the dough. You guys got top-notch marketing. You got top-notch this, top. Oh, so you're raking in the dough. So we need a little bit more.
Yeah, you might want to throw a little bit more our way.
And that's where that getting that in writing is important, because
Right.
when they see how well you push your product and how well you present it, they immediately was just dollar signs. Was just,
And what they don't realize is, and for our listeners who may not realize this, Steve is a very gifted graphic artist and a very creative mind. And so when it comes time to put together a Facebook ad or a flyer, a poster, a video, whatever, you have the creativity and the know-how. You understand how to put all that stuff together.
Right.
And so when you sit down to put it together, you bring that same commitment for excellence to the promotional material that you're designing, and that you put into designing a show or putting together an event, and so you bring the excellence, and so what people see, they see the excellence, and they think, wow, Steve just spent a hot dollar there,
Right.
and you haven't really spent, other than your time, energy, and creativity,
Right.
you haven't spent cash,
Right.
but you have put out great cash value.
Yeah, exactly.
And so they see the cash value of what you did and think, that's money they're spending to somebody else when they should be giving me some of that money because I have the venue.
Right.
Yeah.
And here's the thing is because we don't have, like for me, I'm new to Indiana in essence, right? I'm just kind of, as far as the comedy scene, I don't have the backing of like an open mic that, has been there for a while, right? And everybody knows everybody. So word of mouth is their ticket. And that's good too, is to have word of mouth.
Yeah.
But because I don't have that, I have to make sure that the name of the brand is hot and popping, because then word of mouth can start going and saying, oh, wait a minute, something's going on over here. What's
Right.
happening? And then it creates that buzz, right? And so you get everybody thinking, okay, man, this is, you want to get them to go, I want to go there because this looks like it's happening.
Right.
Which can be a plus and a minus, to it. Can be positive and negative. Can be used against you or with or for you. So when it comes to that location, you have to be upfront with the owners and say, all right, this is what we're all about. This is what we do, and we'd like to talk to you about how we can work together to make this successful. Because obviously it's going to be for both entities.
Right.
And that's where I've always struggled with. I struggled with not being able to, first always feeling like I'm being shut down or at least cut off and saying, okay, no, because of the opportunity to grow or
Right.
the opportunity of, this will really work if you let me do this.
Right.
Or it'll be, just the fact that, okay, I see all that you're doing, so you have the money, so you need to pay up and we need to change and renegotiate. So I've just gotten to a point where it's frustrated. It's very frustrating because I know the potential. I know how this can really be something that can be one of the places to be at.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it's, number one, it has this different identity than others, and so now it stands out.
Yeah.
But the short run that we've had has been very positive.
Yeah.
Because the response of everybody that has come through to that from that has been great. So it was just a measurement of saying, oh my gosh, this. Like I said, if we can have this consistently,
Right.
then, at least for a year, 2 years, would really put it on the map.
Well, and I think that's an important thing for us to make sure and focus on just for a second.
Yeah.
Because there are going to be some people listening to the podcast that are thinking, okay, I want to start my own room. I want to get an open mic going.
Yeah.
You have to plan to be in it for the long haul.
Yeah, it's a long
you can't be, it's not a one and done type thing where, hey, we went and did this and then now I've got a name and I've got okay, that's not. You've got to commit to doing it consistently for time and come prepared that because again, if you don't have it in writing, then things will change because my understanding, your understanding, and having a misunderstanding comes pretty quick, no matter who you are and where you are.
Yeah.
Communication
and making sure that there's clarity and the agreement is key.
Clarity is the big key.
Yep.
So anyway, I just kind of wanted to really hammer that point home about it being that you've got to look towards longevity so that you can establish something that the community around you will recognize. They're committed to this. We need to be committed to it.
Right. And, I think that's with anything, right? With any business that you want, whether if it's you're trying to be a comedian, your consistency on the stage, consistency in writing, consistent in making sure that you're constantly watering it, but at the same time you're in it for the long haul. Every comic that we've interviewed, they say it's a marathon, it's not a race.
Yeah, it's not a sprint.
A sprint.
Yeah.
So it's like you gotta understand that it's gonna take time. So that's why, I mean, with Gutties being since 2003, was that 15 years? No, 14? No, I'm bad at math. So we're at 19, right?
We're at
so
16 years.
16 years. So it's 16 years old. So it's just a teenager still, moving
Now,
on.
if you want to think of it like a car,
So-
2003, it would be 20 years because the cars, they change the years. I don't understand how they do it, but So
it's
we're
kinda
looking at
like that,
16,
where-
16 years
and,
of
Right.
this dream,
Right.
and trying to keep it going.
Keep it alive has just been the trick. And that's the thing is I'm looking at my kids now. They're very smart. They're very, creative. They're at a place where their creativity is now, you can see the difference from where they at before, right? So they start off, especially my daughter, my oldest, she's super creative and she's a great artist. But when she first started, it was garbage, right? But when I told her to keep at it, she's 16 now.
Yeah.
And she's really good at it. It's kind of like where Gutties is right now. It's like at first it was just like, I even looked at all the different logos that I started off with.
Yeah.
And I'm looking back and going, wow, right? Where it all started off and then now where it's at. It has such a solid brand now. And it's very creative, very, very fun, very outgoing, very, new and sharp. Because it's at its stage now where it wants to go. So when you're 16, 17, 18, and you want to head out and be like, all right, I'm old enough now, I know what I'm doing, I'm very creative, I'm ready to do this. It's kind of like how it feels right now, where everything is kind of, the foundation is set and laid, and it's just a matter of now,
And that's the ebb and flow.
Going out.
That's the ebb and flow of life.
Yeah.
I went back recently. I was clearing out an external hard drive. I was just kind of looking through if I could add some room to put something else in, and so I pulled up some old video of almost. Well, it would have been 18 years ago. So I had been in the comedy world for about 2 years at the time.
Wow.
And I thought, hey, I'm getting real good at this, man.
You're doing it.
And at that point, I was probably thinking, man, that stuff I did 2 years ago, that was crap. This is so much better. I'm really hitting my stride.
Right.
And now here I am almost 20 years later looking at it and going, oh my God, I can't believe I did that in public. What am I doing? And so the reality is, in about 150 years, I will have really hit my stride then. I will probably be the best I ever have been in about 150 years.
Exactly.
So if I could just hold on till then, man, I'm going to be phenomenal.
But so that boils down to the love of it.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, we're in it because we love it. I mean, that's who we are. And that's why we each, every single one of us have a specific place in comedy.
So let me kind of focus things just a little bit about. Okay, I'm going to be honest to our listeners. We found a spot that neither Steve or I were completely convinced was going to be the best place, but because it was a place that was open for us to do something consistently, we said, you know what, let's go do something with it. And the location, and some of you who are listening to the podcast, you might say, well, we know exactly what they're talking about. But I'm not trying to necessarily point out a particular place or city or whatever. I just kind of want to put this out there that we looked at this location and we said, okay, let's do what we can. And at that point, it wasn't necessarily going to be a phenomenal automatic home run it was going to take some work to build a crowd and to build a presence.
Yeah.
But we said, okay, let's go in. Let's be committed for the long haul. And in the short time that we opened the doors there and said, look, Gutties is coming into town. Mm-hmm. We're gonna be here. We had to go in.
Yeah.
Guns blazing, with the level of excellence that you say you're committed to.
Yeah,
let's go do that.
Yeah,
and we got some really good response, particularly from the community surrounding that venue, saying, "Wow, we're excited that you're here. We really want to do something."
Yeah,
and so the point that I want to make with this is when you go in, regardless of what you feel about the venue and the drawbacks that may or may not be there,
right?
If you go in committed to bringing the excellence, bringing your best at that moment, you can see great results happen in the process.
Big time. Hey, here's the thing: is when you put in, like you were saying, you put in the work and the commitment to that work, and you stay consistent to that. There's no way that it shouldn't grow. So I used to live in Canby, the Canby area, and our front lawn of our home was just dust. That's what it was. It wasn't even close to anything. It was just dirt and it was garbage. But my wife and I, we were like, you know what? Let's see if we can make this work. So for almost, I think, about 2 months, I was committed in planting seeds and scraping the dirt and making sure I did all I could, and she did as well. And we watered the lawn every day, just consistent. And I'm telling you that the front lawn was horrible. I mean, there was no way you could see the tree roots coming out of the ground. It was just bad. And we were like, no, we're gonna see how this is gonna work. And we stayed consistent. We were planting those. I was consistent with the feed, feeding the grass and making sure it's all good and watering it down, just putting everything on there, going online and reading all the ways, different methods and how to grow this, do that.
So consistent, you made your kids go out in the front yard and go to the bathroom to fertilize it.
No, my
man,
dog, we had a pet, so we need the manure. So we just were consistent, right? And we learned all that. And dude, I don't know if it was overnight, but the process, when it got to the like 2 months of doing it, you couldn't even recognize it.
It paid off. And then all of a sudden, the neighbors were envious because the work paid off for you.
I'm just saying. We actually got a call from the owners, the homeowners
association,
and they were
legalized mob.
They pretty much were like, they saw that what we were doing, and they were thankful for it because the previous owners didn't even care.
We want to thank you for putting in that hard work.
Making it so much better.
And we'd like to know
increase the rent here now.
How many dead bodies did you bury to actually get that to fertilize like that? Because we're curious,
So for the location that we were at, I felt like we were putting in the work. We were planting that seed. We were just doing the work. We were. And for the little amount of time that we were there, we saw the results were happening.
Yeah.
Because we were putting in good work. We had great material. We had great comics. We had a nice little setup. And we knew that we had a lot of work to do still.
Oh, yeah.
Even though we still were able to put out a successful show. Now, anything that you cut off short or, just completely have to, start over, you'll see that, it's unfortunate because you want to stay consistent.
Right.
That's necessary because
Well,
then
and-
words can get out. Then they can start going.
And I'm going to say this just because I want to be transparent with
Yeah.
our listeners
Sure.
and with pretty much with anybody. People might say, why
right.
isn't Gutties still there? And I will let you know that there was a problem with some miscommunication and a lack of communication,
Clarity.
and in the clarity,
Yeah.
and I take responsibility for the lack of the clarity and the communication in that because I got busy doing things that trying to be helpful
Yeah.
to the venue,
Yeah.
but not really focusing on what necessarily was going to be the best for the venue or the best for Gutties in that venue.
Right.
And because of that, the clarity
Yeah.
dropped,
Yeah.
and the communication dropped, and I take responsibility for that. It came to that point where
You're fired.
it was going to
You're fired.
It was going to be
You're fired.
difficult for us to salvage
Yeah.
the damage in that relationship where the communication had ceased.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of why Gutties isn't in that particular venue anymore.
Right.
So it's not that that's just a horrible location because if we stayed there, would it take work? Yes.
That's
But here again, if you still lived in that house in Canby,
right.
this many years later,
Right.
you still would have to put in work to keep
keep
the
it
yard
maintained.
looking that great. You got to
Exactly.
maintain it.
Exactly.
Once you get it established, you have to maintain it.
Right. But you
And-
but you also right. And being in that place, you have to know that it's for the long haul. You got to know that it's for because that's what it's going to take in order for it to be established. That's why you got places that have been open for 50 years and 25 years, whatever, because they were in it for the long haul. They knew that they have the right
Right.
spot, and I'm going to put in work now to create a name. And it takes that work.
And you have to continue to nurture the
The brand,
brand,
everything,
the
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And so, again, I want to be honest and transparent
Yeah.
that when I got distracted and busy doing too many things that weren't important to nurturing that relationship, that
Yeah.
brand, that venue, whatever, that's where things kind of dip downhill. And so now, at the same time, I'm going to continue to be transparent and brutally honest with where we are. At the same time, we had talked about, okay, maybe in the long haul, we need to find a different venue
Yeah.
where we can accomplish things that if we take all of the effort that we were putting into this particular place,
Yeah.
if we moved that to a place where we weren't going to have to put all of our energy into certain aspects, and we could use that same amount of energy
Yeah.
in other focuses.
Yeah.
Think of what kind of response we're going to get from that.
Right.
And that brings us to kind of where we are now
Right.
in the process of the search for
Another
a new
place.
home.
Yeah.
In a little bit closer to the Indianapolis heartbeat of
Yeah.
things, and that's where we're in the process of looking and trying to get that settled. So Gutties will definitely scream on
We'll
for
keep pushing.
the long haul. But we're not walking away going, well, we tried.
To be right, it was
We tried.
thrown in the towel.
We gave it the old gung ho.
no,
we
'cause
we
that-
are still
Yeah.
focused on the long haul of finding the right spot, the
Yeah.
right venue for
Yeah.
us to jump in and build the Gutties brand.
and it's just there's no other way around it. Oh, well, here's the
So
thing.
if you'll
When
continue to hang on
Yeah.
and put up with an old guy like me, we might actually accomplish something. I don't
Man, I'm already putting.
know.
It's all good.
You're paying your dues
I'm
right
paying my
now.
dues right now, man. Better pay off. Just kidding. No, I mean, because there's so many things we want to do with Gutties that we need a place that's going to house it.
Yeah.
There's so many different ideas that Gutties is going to provide for entertainment that I'm excited about. But at the same time, when we get to a place and they're like, well, you can only do it, it's kind of like, we got to get to a place where we can have all these options available.
Right.
Because there's so many different things that we want to do that a lot of comics, I think, would benefit from it, because it's a variety of things that would be really cool to have,
Right,
and to house, and then to give them, some options as well. So it's like we're in need of place now.
Yeah. But I will say this: if you're a comedian who's listening in on Pops and the Rican show, can you do a solid, tight set with clean material?
I'm telling you, man.
If you can
That's
work clean and do a tight set, go to Gutty'sComedyClub.com, and there's a place where you can send us some information about who you are and where you're coming from and all of that. Even though right now we don't have the venue up and rolling, it won't be long, and we will. And once we get back into the saddle with a new home, we're going to be hitting the ground running. Because we're going to want to fill spots and
get some dates in,
get things booked quick. So if you're interested, just because you hear us say, well, right now Gutty's is kind of on a bit of a hiatus, a little vacation time. We're not on vacation.
No.
We're crazy looking for that perfect venue, and once we find that and we lock into place, then we're going to have to hit the ground hard and fast to lock in some talent. So if you're interested, make sure you get us your information. Go to Gutty'sComedyClub.com.
Or you can even email us directly at info@Gutty'sComedyClub.com.
Info
so either way.
Gutty'sComedyClub.com. Just let us know that you're interested in all your deets. And
all your deets.
And do it in a hot minute.
It won't take but a hot minute to get done.
Look at me. I'm talking the lingo. I'm talking
to you.
It's like the kids say with their socialized media on the Book of Faces and
on the Facebook and the tickety on the Facebook.
And when they're twittering, when they're twittering, is that what they call it? I don't know.
Yes, that's exactly what they call it.
And they're sending their grams instantly. Which is pretty
very
impressive.
Good, because you need to connect with your grams. It's always important.
So I'm just saying, if we're going to be hitting it hard and fast.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you. I mean, as fast
as an old man like me can. Anyway, I don't know.
We got some good stuff lined up already. We got people that are already like, let me know. So, I don't think it's going to be a problem lining it up. It's just, again, with the challenges of having a place and a location, that's pretty much,
Hey, one thing that I want to mention on this episode, because it's going to be going out before they get to their show. Our friends at Happy Place Comedy,
they're doing something awesome.
We went down and visited with them at the Pixie Theater in Edinburgh, Indiana. So if you don't remember, go back and watch that episode.
Dave and Jan.
Dave
Cross.
Dave Cross and Jan Taplock. And you look at that episode, but they are doing a clean comedy challenge.
Yes, they are.
And which I'm thrilled and excited for them. And quite honestly, I wish that Gutty's was not looking for a new home, that we could have partnered with them and
have a nice little,
done a second. You kind of let all those comics do the work at Pixie and do the work at Gutty's and get a lot of experience doing that, coming together like that. But by all means, if you do a search for Happy Place Comedy on Facebook or whatever, you can find out the information about the time and date and all of that, and get your tickets and support that.
100%. Jan and Dave are really great people. You want to make sure that you are involved with that, because they will take care of you. They're always looking for great talent. They always believe in writing and getting together with other people that are very creative. And they're just as talented as well. So you want to connect with something like that. It's a good thing.
And they put together what it looks like it's going to just be a great
show.
A great contest, contest, clean comedy, where people, the winners are actually going to go away with a little coin in their pocket because of that, and
that's always
and
fun.
so hey.
But it's also, again,
it is so much
another
worth it.
opportunity
So,
to work your material. Like we're always going to be preaching to these guys. Get clean. You'll
Yep.
get more green if you work clean.
green is green.
Green is green. So get that.
Yeah. So I just wanted to mention the Happy Place Comedy, the Clean Comedy Contest that they're doing because I want to be very supportive of what they're doing and want to encourage our
100%.
listeners. If you're looking to do something,
If you
that's
wanna
a great
perform,
that's
go
a great
there.
place. And
If you
that
wanna
little-
come check it out.
that theater is a great place there in Edinburgh. It is
a great
a
spot.
classic.
It
old
is.
theater that you just
It's a great spot.
the environment is fun to work in. So touch base with Dave and Jan and get on their docket and see what you can do there. So
Love it.
anything else we need to talk about for the good of the world?
Man, I think as for the record, I enjoy Brickhouse Coffee more
Well,
than this. I'm just saying.
it's
Because Jara and Jared and Laura and is it Alex?
I don't know. You're asking me to name people
I'm
now.
always getting his name. I know it's so bad,
So,
but they're awesome over there.
But
at Brickhouse.
I will
It's
say-
great coffee.
and I will say the coffee by far best coffee in ever.
Just saying,
And I have traveled across the country. It's the best I've had in at least
it's
where
great
I've
stuff.
traveled.
It's good stuff.
But since they were already closed when it was time for us to get together and record this episode, we had to find a
We had
place
to
where
find-
we had to find a place where we could sit down, and so I had to use my pseudo office. I'd much rather use my office at Brickhouse.
Yeah.
Man.
But that's pretty much
But-
it, man. I'm excited about what's happening. I'm constantly grinding, making sure I find something. We're working hard, man, because we know that Gutties needs to be established. We
Well,
need to
and
have a spot.
I'm going to throw out a little teaser here. I am meeting with a couple of people.
A teaser. Yeah.
I'm meeting with a couple of people tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the results of that meeting may very well give us some news that we will have to bring back to the next episode of
Nice.
Pops and the Regan.
That'd be awesome.
Or either it's going to give us good news, or in the next episode of the Pops and the Regan show, it's just going to be the Regan because Pops is going to be in jail.
Yes.
I'm not
Or it's just
saying
gonna be me because I fired his.
I'm not saying which jail I'll be
You're
in. but,
fired.
maybe I can.
Make
Maybe I
sure
can
there's
go.
clarity and
Maybe
communication.
I can go to jail where I can be next to our good friend Larry, who is. Did you see?
Larry,
did
man.
you see?
Shout out to Larry,
Did
man.
you see that Larry was doing?
Yeah, he did
was
comedy.
doing
He did
comedy
1949
from a video conference from jail. That boy he's like, okay,
That's
you
gonna stop
can
him
lock
from
me
getting
up,
on
but I ain't
stage.
stopping. You got to tell the jokes. You got to get up there.
That's
You got to deal with the
commitment
funny
right
man.
there.
That's
That's good
committed to the long haul.
Yeah.
no
That's
matter
good.
no matter how long he's going to be in
Literally.
jail, he's
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
go. I'm here telling jokes, people. So, anyway,
stuff, man.
well. If there's nothing else to say, then I suppose we'll just say, hey, join us on the next episode. We can't say next week because we might
Keep
not be here.
saying that.
The next episode.
I know.
And hopefully it will be next week.
Yeah, hopefully.
And hopefully we'll get back to
Good
doing this
news.
on a weekly basis instead of getting busy crazy
we'll
doing
make
all
it
the
happen.
crazy stuff we're doing. But for lack of anything else, join us on the future next episodes of Pops and Rican. And so I think I'm going to say it. I'm Pops.
And I'm the Rican.
And this is the Pops and the Rican Show.
Hazme un tumbao que el ritmo lo pongo yo.
Pops and the Regan.
Look at this dude. Look at the top of his head. Look at his lips.
Pops and the Regan.